In 2021, e-commerce sales in the US reached $768 billion. By 2025, these numbers will nearly double to $1.3 trillion. It has never been easier to get your products in front of more customers than right now. So when is the best time to start an Etsy shop? Yesterday. Hey everyone, I'm Dylan from Marmalead. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, it's true that yesterday was the best time to start your e-commerce business because today you're one day behind. You're one day behind owning your own business. You're one day behind being your own boss. And you're one day behind financial freedom. But that's okay because that all changes today. If you're watching this video, it's because you're probably wondering if now is a good time to start an Etsy shop, which means you've probably already got an idea for a product you want to sell, and you've already narrowed down Etsy as a marketplace you want to sell on. Now, all that's left to do is to start. So if you're looking for the motivation to get started, here it is. Keep watching till the end of this video where we cover everything you need to know to get started on Etsy. Now, before we jump into things, you need to ask yourself if you think you have what it takes to succeed on Etsy. And if you're a creative individual with a passion for whatever it is that you make, then we think you do. But here's the thing. Before you can find success as an Etsy seller, you need to know how to start your shop. And that means understanding the fundamentals of selling on the Etsy platform. And it's easier than you think. But if you get the fundamentals wrong, or if you don't actively work to learn from your mistakes, then a successful Etsy shop isn't just gonna fall on your lap. It takes trial and error. You're gonna do things wrong, but if you follow these basic steps, you'll be starting your Etsy shop on the right track to a successful e-commerce business. At the beginning of this video, we shared some e-commerce stats that are pretty surprising. According to Statista, last year, e-commerce revenue in the US was $768 billion and will nearly double by 2025. So in just a little over 3 years, e-commerce revenue in the US will reach $1.3 trillion. What this means is that over the next 3 years, the opportunity for online sales will continue to increase as the average consumer spends more of their time shopping online instead of in-store. If you had a time machine to go back to the beginning of 2020, e-commerce sales, especially on Etsy, skyrocketed because everybody was stuck at home. Shops weren't open, and the only way to buy things was online. Now, if you've kept an eye on e-commerce since 2020, sales are starting to level off, but the ease and convenience of making online purchases is absolutely becoming the new normal. Sure, the world's been trending towards this for quite some time. Malls are dying, inventories in stores are dwindling, all while online marketplaces thrive for major retailers, mom and pops, and individually owned handmade businesses like yours. Buying and selling products online is not going away, so you can choose to sit on the sideline while somebody else starts your business, or you can start your Etsy shop today. Some of you might be asking, why Etsy? Why not start my own website with Shopify? Why not sell products on Amazon? And the answer to that question is you should probably do all three of these things. But if you're just starting out and you're not quite sure about the ins and outs of e-commerce, then Etsy is a great place to start. So here's everything you need to know to start an Etsy shop. Step 1, figure out what to sell to make money. This may seem obvious, but it's tough to compete in a saturated market. If there are 50,000 shops out there selling the same thing as you, let's say candles, what makes your candles better than all the rest? Do you offer a scent that nobody else does? A bigger size or interesting shape? Or an aesthetically pleasing or funny label? What makes your product stand out from all the other products that are just like yours? Find a way to innovate on the products you create, and you may end up in a profitable niche that you had no idea existed. We recently talked all about the best way to find new product ideas, so if you're not sure where to start, check out this video. On the flip side, just because your family loves the doilies you crochet doesn't necessarily mean you'll find a market for it on Etsy. And you could crochet the meanest doilies on the streets, but is there a market for it? Are there any Etsy shoppers out there searching for these types of products? If you don't know, then you haven't done your research yet. So before you jump headfirst into selling anything on Etsy, you must do some market research. This involves asking yourself a couple questions. Who is your product designed for? This is your target audience. How can you reach your target audience? Where do they hang out online? Instagram, TikTok, Twitter? Are any Etsy shops already selling your product? If so, how many? What do they charge? What makes your product different from your competitors? Do you use better materials? Or can you market your products better than them? How many active Etsy shoppers currently search Etsy for these types of products? Answering most of these questions is as simple as doing some of your own research on Google and Etsy. We've covered some more comprehensive guides on figuring out your target audience and how to use Google Analytics to get into the mind of your customers. So if that's something that interests you, we'll put links down in the description. Lastly, if you use Marmalead for your Etsy business, you'll be able to figure out how many Etsy shoppers are currently searching for products just like yours and the keywords they use to find them. Your product is the foundation of your Etsy business. Start out with a good product, then everything else will fit into place that much easier. Step 2, establish your brand. Once you figure out your target audience, you need to establish a brand that speaks to your ideal buyer. And while your logo and your shop name is an important part of your brand, what's more important is the way you market your products. Your marketing will help you relate to your customers quicker than anything else, because that will be your customer's first impression of your product. For example, let's take a look at your social media posts and your marketing imagery. Both of these key aspects of marketing will hinge on the tone and overall feel of your brand. If most of your customers come from Etsy search traffic, their first impression of your shop will be through your product photos. Or if most of your customers are from your TikTok following, their first impression is from your videos, how you carry yourself on camera, and how you display your products, and the lifestyle behind your products through these videos. All of these elements are core to your brand. What type of backdrops or scenery do you use for your product photos? What kind of emotion do you wish to evoke with the way you describe your products on social media, in your marketing, and in your product descriptions? What type of lifestyle can your customers expect to achieve through the use of your products? Answer these questions and you'll be on your way to establishing your brand. And remember, when it comes to your brand, you need to keep your target audience at the forefront of your mind. Step 3, create your own aesthetic. Going hand in hand with your brand, your shop aesthetic creates a certain feeling around your products. Now that you've done your market research to determine your product, you've identified your target audience, and you've established a brand that speaks to that audience, you need to create an aura or a feeling or a lifestyle around your products that gives off a vibe that fits with your ideal customer. I mentioned earlier in this video that malls are dying, but back in their not too distant heyday, I'm sure we've all seen a Hollister in the mall. It's a beachy and preppy clothing store with a storefront that looks like you walked into a SoCal beachside cabana. The lights inside are moody, it smells like their cologne throughout the store, surfboards and beach cruisers line the walls, and you know that you're being sold on the idea of a beachy lifestyle. This store has its own aesthetic, its own vibe, like no other store in the mall. And this is all very intentional. Reportedly, the founders of Hollister created their own backstory behind the brand that details how John Hollister traveled the world on his sailboat, eventually settling down in Laguna Beach with his wife Meta and son John Jr. John Jr. went on to create the store that we knew 10 years ago and still today. But it's all fake. They just pulled the name Hollister out of thin air, as well as these characters, to build the story around their brand. And this story and the lifestyle it portrays resonates throughout its marketing, inside its store, and on some level with the feeling you get while wearing their clothing, even if their clothes are overly priced Target quality. Now what we mean by all this is you can get creative with the story behind your brand to create an aesthetic for your shop and your products that will resonate with your customer and the lifestyle they want to achieve by purchasing your products. And this doesn't have to be something you post publicly. You can use this story to further develop your brand, your marketing, and the feeling a customer gets when buying from you. So everything from your product descriptions, social media posts, listing photos, confirmation emails, and the thank you notes you include in your packaging should on some level portray the feeling behind your brand, your own individual aesthetic. Step 4, master your product photography. We mentioned this earlier, but on Etsy, your listing photo, along with your product title, is the very first thing potential shoppers will see before they choose to interact with your listing, and maybe even decide to buy. So to get your customer to engage with your listing in the first place, you need to put your best product photo first. Once again, you're going to need to take a look at your target audience. How can you shoot your product photos so they're interesting to your potential customers? Yes, you'll want to make sure you use good lighting and a nice backdrop, and you'll find plenty of videos out there telling you exactly how to do that. We even have one right here. But most importantly, you need to put photos in front of shoppers that they want to click on. If you search for a product on Etsy and see a page full of listings, where is your eye drawn to first? This will be different for everyone, and depending on your target audience, it'll be different for them too. But with your aesthetic and your brand in mind, start by taking product photos that align with the overall creative narrative you've established for your products. Take high quality photos of your products in use, someone holding it or being displayed on the wall. Make sure your product is the focus of the photo, and without question, it's easy for shoppers to instantly understand what it is you're selling. Use props or different digital elements that add the overall aesthetic to your product and your brand. Remember, you're not just selling a product, you're selling the lifestyle that you want your customers to experience with your product. Show this lifestyle in your product photos. Since you've already defined your target audience, look to Pinterest and Instagram to see what popular photos people are sharing within your demographic. This is the lifestyle your target audience wants to achieve because this is what their social media timelines are filled with. Begin to experiment with your product photos to try and recreate the styles and aesthetic of these popular social media photos. But again, make sure the focus is on your product. Try out different backdrops, scenery, props, angles, but take photos that could be a popular photo people would engage with on social media, and you'll draw their eyes when they're scrolling through listings on Etsy. Step 5, you need to research your Etsy keywords. One of the easiest ways to get more traffic on Etsy is through organic search. This is when any random Etsy shopper goes on the marketplace, searches for a product, and your listing shows up within that full page of listings. We just told you how to draw the eye of shoppers after your product shows up within those search results. But how are you supposed to get your products to show up in the first place? It's by using effective keywords in your listings that Etsy shoppers are using in search. And these keywords are used in your tags, titles, product descriptions, and even in your product category. To start, you'll need to look for effective keywords to use in tags and titles, and that's where Marmalead comes in. Using Marmalead, all you need to do is type in your product, and we'll show you search data from Etsy that gives you everything you need to know about potential keywords to use in your listings. So if you have no idea where to start, you just simply type in the product you're selling on Etsy, and we'll show you examples of other listings, the keywords they use. We'll give you our own keyword suggestions that are related to your product, and show you long tail keywords that could be a good fit for your current product, or maybe even a good niche to expand your product line. The keyword data we provide in Marmalead will show you real search volume, so you can see how many searches a keyword is expected to receive over the next 30 days. With little to no search traffic for that keyword, you may find your listing sits on Etsy with no organic traffic coming your way. Marmalead also shows real shopper engagement, so you can see how many unique clicks a keyword is expected to generate over the next 30 days. Getting that click will of course depend on your listing photo and title to draw in interested shoppers, but a keyword that starts with high engagement numbers shows that shoppers who search with this keyword on Etsy have the intention to click through listings until they find the product they want to buy. And of course with Marmalead you'll see real competition data, a scale that shows you how many other Etsy sellers are using this keyword as a part of their tags. Too much competition and you'll have a hard time appearing in search results. Marmalead shows much more useful information for your keyword research, so if you want to see the different ways you can use the data from Marmalead, check out this video somewhere up here where we offer a tutorial on our keyword search feature. Step 6, pricing your Etsy products. If the price ain't right, no one's going to buy. We've talked at length about the right way to price your products, so I won't beat a dead horse here, but there's 3 camps that your products will fit in: bargain, average, and premium. Bargain products are priced low, probably too low for it to be worth your time when selling on Etsy. Average products are priced middle of the road. This is what shoppers would expect to pay for whatever it is that you're selling. And premium products are higher than the rest. Customers are paying for the brand, knowing that they're buying a handmade product and being one of the in crowd, someone who owns the expensive item you're selling. All 3 of these pricing structures have their own place, but what's most important is that you understand your profit margin with each sale you make on Etsy. Are you factoring in the cost of shipping? Who's paying for it? What about Etsy's fees? Or the surprise offsite ads fee? Once everybody else gets their cut, what amount of money will you be left with? If you're not sure how to figure this out, we've gone in depth on understanding your profit margin in a recent video. Don't leave money on the table and don't dig yourself into a hole. Make sure you know your profit margin. Step 7, are you paying your taxes? They call it Al Capone for tax evasion. Don't let them catch you for it too. You need to pay your taxes every year. It's a simple part of doing business, but there are different ways to set up your business that affect the way you pay your taxes and what you can deduct. We're not tax professionals, so make sure you speak with a CPA or tax specialist when setting up your Etsy business. It takes a little money up front, but there's no substitute for the assurance that you're following your local and federal tax guidelines for your business. It's a smart business move. Talk with a professional. Step 8, the last and most important, it's time to get some sales. Pretty much everything we've done so far leading up to this point is to help you get more sales in your Etsy shop. But if you're just starting out, getting your first sale can be overwhelming. So start with your friends and family. Once your Etsy shop is set up, share the good news with your friends and put it on Facebook so your family knows. Ask if they'll support your business by buying one of your products and leaving you an honest review. You should be able to get a handful of sales and reviews this way, which means future Etsy customers won't feel hesitant to be the first person to buy your product. Now that you've got a few sales, you've gained a little bit of momentum, you can start by sharing your Etsy products on your different social media channels. If you don't already have a following on social media, you can use TikTok, Instagram Reels, even YouTube Shorts. Right now, video is king on social media. After you've been able to get a few sales from friends and family, you've gathered a few sales from your social media following, and it's time to just double down on everything that we talked about within this video. Experiment with product photos, experiment with your pricing, experiment with new sets of keywords across all of your listings. When you find a sweet spot, triple down on it. Like we said at the beginning of this video, running a successful Etsy shop is trial and error. You're gonna do things wrong, and that's okay. If you've enjoyed this video and found these tips helpful, then check out some of the other videos available on our channel. At Marmalead, we're here to help you succeed in your Etsy business. If you have any questions, post them down in the chat below. And as always, have a nice day.